The student, welcome again to our course MSD 019 Global Strategies to Sustainable Development. In this session, we are going to look into one of the global goal number 2, zero hunger. And we'll look into what is the exact progression global level, right? So, as we know that the zero hunger goal number 2, it is about achieving food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. When you look into even SDG goal number 2, you'll find that there are 8 targets to be achieved by 2030 to achieve this major goal to end hunger. Right? It has 14 indicators to look into the progress of these 8 targets. The challenge is when you talk about zero hunger in front of us, when we look into the global status in front of us, is that we live in a world where 1 in 9 people is undernourished. That means we are in hunger. Most of the people are in hunger. So to find out a solution in this direction, there is a way, there should be a way to increase agricultural productivity and ensure equitable access to food for all. Because when you talk about hunger, it is about getting proper food and proper nutrition. That's why when look into this issue, we look into the level of undernourished people, right? Then other challenges in front of us is when we talk about food, it is about crop biodiversity. So 75% of crop diversity has been lost to when we are looking into industrialization and to feed the people, million people across the world. We are approaching, or we have already implemented monocrop culture system. So because of this monocrop culture system, 75% of the crop diversity has been lost. That have a direct impact into the vulnerable, because when we look into the different pests and the disease outbreak, it is related to monocrop cultivation. So we need to find out a way to reduce such kind of monocrop cultivation, the diversity of plant varieties, the way of promotion of multiculture, this agriculture should be strengthened. In the same way, when we look into when we are talking about zero hunger, when look into the food production system, most of the food production are come from the smallholder farmers. That means provided 80% of the food consumed in most of the developing world. So all these 80% of the smallholder farmers, their production is from rain-fed agriculture. And especially when you look into rain-fed agriculture, it is vulnerable to whenever there is natural drought or floods. It is vulnerable to this rain-fed agriculture. So we need to invest as a solution to improve the production from the smallholder farmers. We need to invest more on or more in smallholder farmers. Especially if you look into agricultural system across the world, women play an important role. So we need to give an emphasis, special emphasis to women farmers to increase the food security and improve nutrition for the forest. So in the nutshell, what we have to do is achieving zero hunger. It requires intensification of efforts to transform this food system towards a resilient, sustainable, and equity. So furthermore, when we try to accelerate improvement in the same way, we have to accelerating the improvements in terms of diets, nutrition, health, and hygiene. And when look into this, these are the crucial to meeting different SDG targets. right? So when we talk about SDG and goal to zero hunger, that has multiple benefit. When we achieve this goal, it has a multiple benefits to other goals. Okay. When we are looking at the different targets, you will see that target one of this goal number 2 and hunger is about we have to end hunger, ensure access by all people, right? Particularly the poor and people who are in vulnerable situation, including infants, to give a safe, nutritious and sufficient food all around the year. So to look into the progress of this particular target, we have two important indicators. One is prevalence of undernourishment, and the second indicator is prevalence of moderate of severe food insecurity in the terms of population that should be based on food insecurity experience scale. When you look into the global the data, here you will find out that the performance is not up to the marks, though this is increasing. I mean, this is progression, but it's not up to the mark. You will see here when we look into 12.7 percentage into 2000. Today, this that is in the year 2022, it is 9.2. But if you look from the day where we have implemented Sustainable Development Goal to be achieved by 2030, you will find here in 2015, it is 7.9%. So it is increasing to 8.9 in 2020 and 9.2 in 2022. So it is an alert to us. We need to progress well, and we have to find out a proper implementation of different policy program to achieve this program. Again, when we look into the prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in the population that based on food insecurity index that experience scale, we'll see when talk about this indicator, the prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in the population. Here in 2015, it is about in the percentage of is around 21.7. Now it is 29.6 in 2022. So this indicates that we need grab exists over there. So we need to improve, we need to find out a way to achieve this goal. Again, if you look into this in adult population that by sex, you will find out this also we need to improve. For example, in female, it is around 29.6%. In 2015, it is 27.8. So 7% increase is not good. So that should be, it's an indication that we have to work a lot. So in the same way, when look into the prevalence of food insecurity in population, also you'll find out globally, 2015 that is 7.6, now it is 11.3. So despite our efforts, this problem exists. So we need to find out a way to improve, as I repeatedly mentioning this word. So this may be because of the sharp increase in the complex situation created by COVID-19. But now when we are free from those complex situation from COVID-19, we have to work on this direction so that we'll be able to achieve this goal by 2030. When it comes into target number 2, it is about to end all forms of malnutrition, including that achieving the international agreed targets of stunting and wasting in children under 5 years of age, and also addressing the nutritional needs of adolescent girls, pregnant and lactating women, and older persons. To look into this, we have 3 major indicators. They are prevalence of stunting, right? Prevalence of stunting, this would be height for the age, should be between this -2 to +2, right? 5 years of age. And the second indicator is prevalence of malnutrition, that is WILT, IZ, what for Z score, that score should be +2 to between +2 to -2. In the same way, in the third indicators to look into this target is prevalence of anemia, because when you talk about malnutrition, it is that related to anemia also. The prevalence of anemia in women aged 15 to 49 years reproductive age. So by pregnancy status should be regularly checked. So when you look into these indicators, you will find out here that the global I said that score in the world is 31.1 into 2005. It is 24.6, and that decreases 2015, and then it is 22.3. So when we say that it is, I say that is less than -2, it refers to chronic malnutrition among children aged 0 to 59. So that shows that this minus this deviation, if you look into this figure, we are not progressing well, right? In the same way, when we look into the second indicator, prevalence of malnutrition, that should be between that score should be +2 or between +2 to -2 of standard deviation from the median of the WHO girl child growth standard among children under age 5 years of age by any type, maybe wasting and overweight. So if you look into here, this figure also, it is more than +2. It is 6.8. When you just look here, 5.5 to 8.1, a median age differ. Okay. In the same way, if you look here also, the same, when we talk about proportion of children under 5 years of age who are moderately or severely overweight, here you will see in this table from it is 5.6 in 2005, then again this 5.6 because it is stagnant. Okay. Again, when we look into proportion of women aged 15 to 49 years with anemia, here number is up to some extent. It was better than the beginning of this century to 2015, but if you look from 2015 to 2019, now it is increasing. So in this way also we need to improve. We need to implement effective implementation of policy program is required at different levels to achieve this target. Same way it is here for pregnant women. Here also from 36.6 to 36.5, little and small difference only that needs to be improved. So that we will be able to achieve a target by 2030. In the same way, when we look into proportion of non-pregnant women aged 14 years with anemia, here 28.4% was in 2015. Now it is 29.6%. Okay, so this shows that globally, we have the issues of, if you look into this particular target 2.2, you will see that globally 1 out of 5 means 19.5% children under age 5 will be affected by stunting in 2030. So in the same way, when you talk about overweight affection, that affected by overweight will be 37 million children under age 5, or around 5.6%, and wasting will be affected with 45 million children, that will be around 6.8%. Okay, that was in 2022, right? When we look into target 3, that's on doubling the agricultural productivity, because when we talk about zero hunger, it is directly related to food production, food consumption, right? The process of food production, food consumption, nutrition of food. So doubling the agricultural productivity incomes of small-scale food producers, particularly produced by women, indigenous people, family farmers, pastoralists, and fishers, including through their sequential and equal access to land, because farming is directly related to access to land, And other productive resources like resource and inputs, their knowledge, their financial services, on farm markets, opportunities for value addition and for employment. We must try to double this by 2030. To look into this these targets, we have two important measure indicator. One is volume of production per labor unit by class of farming, by class of pastoral, forest enterprise size. Then the second indicator is on average income of small scale food producers, looking into sex wise or indigenous status, right? So when we look here, we will see a large number of income gap between this small and non-small scale food producer, is highly significant. So in most of the country, that is in 95% of countries which have the data, so the average annual income of small scale producer is less than half of the non-small scale producers. So again, among small scale food producer, that units headed by men typically generate higher incomes compared to those headed by women. This shows that we have to need to implement different policy and program to achieve this particular target of doubling the agricultural productivity and income of small scale food producers if we look from different perspective, right? The food target is by 2030 ensuring sustainable food production system and implementation of resilient agricultural practices that directly increase productivity and production. When you have increase in production, that would help in maintaining the integrity of ecosystem, that will strengthen the capacity to the adaptation of climate change, adaptation to extreme weather, drought, flooding, other disaster. That progressively that we have ensure sustainable food production system and resilient agricultural system that progressively improve land soil quality. So proportion of agricultural area under productive and sustainable agriculture is one of the indicators to look into this target target 4 of goal number 2. When you look into this table, we will find out that globally, we have progressed towards production sustainable agriculture is 3.29 in 2015 to that score is 3.29, and that is 3.9 to 2091. So when you look into this score, you see the score, it is between 2.5 to 3.5. That shows that there is no improvement as far as this productive sustainable agriculture is production. When if it is more than if it is more than that, then there will be improvement. For example, if it is more than that 4.5, okay, so it is below 4, so there is no improvement, standstill. So we need to work a lot to improve to look for a productive and sustainable agriculture by implementing number of policies in the program. Target 5 is on maintaining the genetic diversity of seeds, cultivated plants in the farm, and domesticated animals, their related wild species, including through proper management and diversification of those seeds, and plant bank at the national, regional, international level, promoting the access to and fair and equitable sharing of the benefits arising out of that utilization of genetic resources and associated with traditional knowledge, which is agreed internationally. So to look into maintaining the genetic diversity of those we have mentioned over here is to measure indicators. One is number of plant and animal genetic resources that is directly used for food and agriculture. That's requiring either medium or long-term conservation facilities. How many numbers are there in conservation efforts or conservation facility? The second indicator is proportion of local breeds, which is classified as being at risk of extinction. These are the indicators to look into these targets of maintaining the genetic diversity. Here, when you look into plant genetic store ex situ, see, in this way, in here, we are able to achieve up to some extent. We have to need to keep progressing, improving from year to year, because a number of plant and animals are unexplored as of now. So, whenever we identify some animal or plant, we need to find out their values, economic, ecological value, economic value, and need to understand their status in terms of the extinct threatened. So conservation of those species is important, giving that conservation facilities at different levels should be encouraged. Again, the another indicators, number of local and transboundary breeds for which sufficient genetic materials are stored for reconstitution in case of extinction. Here we see in 2024 the total number of local breeds, including extinct one, is 7,669, but number of transboundary breed, including extinct, is about 1,116. So documentation is going on in this direction. So when he talk about proportion of local breeds classified as being at risk extinction is in 2000 to 60, in 2024, in world average, we are not able to get data. But if you look in regionally, some of the region like North Africa, they have the data. Here we will see from 4, it is 15 in 2005, then in 2010 to 17, now it is 20 in 2024. All right. Next target that is listed as 2A in UN SDG goals, that is increase investment, including through enhancing international cooperation, especially in rural infrastructure, agricultural research and extension services, technology development, and plant and livestock gene bank. In order to, why we need investment? In order to enhance agriculture productive capacity in developing countries, particularly in less developed countries. So for that, 2 indicators are there to look into this progress. One is the agriculture orientation index for government expenditure. Second is on total official flow, official development assistance, plus other official flows to the agricultural sector. What is agriculture orientation index? Agriculture orientation index for government expenditure is defined as the agricultural share of government expenditure divided by the agricultural share of GDP, where agriculture referred to agriculture itself, forestry, fishing, and hunting sector. When you look into the progress so far, and if you look into the status, you will see here the agriculture orientation index for government expenditure. The global average is 0.51 in 2001 and it is 0.48 in 2022. It means that when you have agriculture orientation index, that is OA, which is smaller than 1, that indicates that the share of government expenditure devoted to agriculture is smaller than the GDP share of the sector. When it is greater than 1, it indicates that public expenditure in agriculture is relatively higher than the sector's GDP share. So when you look into this index, that is score, you will find out here all these are below 0.48. So we are expanding this expenditure to agriculture is less. So we must improve it. When it comes into total official flow, gross disbursement to the agriculture sector, it is 8,038 in 2000, it is 18,000 and 26.38 in 2022. All right. So when you look into 2A, global expenditure, it used to be $26 trillion of this $749 billion went towards agriculture, and it is an all-time high. So, but in the same time, what we need to, the important is the expenditure. When you look into AOI, the expenditure, agricultural expenditure needs to be improved since it is below 1, right? The another target which is listed as 2B in UNSDG is correct and prevent trade restrictions and distortions in world agricultural market. That includes through the parallel elimination of all forms of agricultural export subsidies and all exports measures with equivalent effect in accordance with the mandate of Doha Development Round. So the targets to look into this is agricultural export subsidies, right? When we look into that, the total notified annual agriculture export subsidy outlets is not going well. It was in the peak of $6.7 billion in 1999. Now it is 33 million in 2022, right? So as of January 2024, only least developed countries and net food importing developing countries, they are allowed to use certain form of export subsidies, right? So you will see here also is that we need to improve this. To 2013 it was 513 million. Now it is 2021, it is 0.005 million, right? So we have to need to work a lot. In the same way, when talk about target which is listed as 2C, that adopt measures to ensure the proper functioning of food commodity markets and their derivatives and facilitate timely access to market information. That includes food reserves in order to have limit extreme food price volatility. So indicator is food price anomalies, right? So here you will see that food price anomaly is increasing. So the market volatility and inflation plays important role. So that needs to be checked properly. That needs to be strengthened to this. For example, here also you will find out the moderate and abnormal value. So when you talk about abnormal high defined is that higher than or equal to 1, and it should be moderate high defined. It should be 0.5 to 1. So when you look here, the value is more than 1. So abnormality, volatile, that the market price is very highly volatile, right? So despite many factors, despite many efforts, still achieving zero hunger goal is a risk. We need to work a lot. We need to implement the effective policy program. Still, we have more than 600 million people worldwide, which is projected maybe by 2030 it is going to be. We have high food prices in. Then the same way, 1 in 3 people worldwide they struggle with moderate to severe food insecurity. And if you look all these indicators like anemia, they're so stagnant. We need to progress. We do not have much progress. We need to progress a lot. So when you talk about malnutrition, this is that persists worldwide. Then we need to improve a lot. Still, we are not progressing well. So based on all this effective implementation and the processes, the polishing program at different level by different nations, and when global common effort, still our progress. If you look here, that target wise, you will see target number 1 that talks about undernourishment, food security. Here, our regression going back. When it talks about malnutrition, stagnation is here. When we talk about small scale food producers to enhance small scale food production, and that we don't have enough data. Same way in sustainable agriculture. But when we talk about this genetic resource for agricultural conservation of genetic resource and so on, moderate progress is going on. But we need to accelerate the progress. In the same way, when you talk about investment in agriculture and the food price anomalies, it is regressing, which that means it is not progressing. When we talk about agriculture export subsidies, it is on track, so we may meet the target. So with this, what we discussed in this session was what are the global indicators and what are their based on the targets and the progress so far. So that we have discussed today. So what still the problem with us is achieving sustainable development goals. We need to have a significant effort to mitigate, especially the impact of climate change. The other is the conflict, economic conflict and crisis, and then high food prices. Then that directly related to decreasing the purchasing power to the people. That has again direct impact to accessing to food, that negatively impacting food security and nutritional outcomes. So we need to increase global public expenditure on agriculture. In the same way, all nation has to work to achieve zero hunger by 2030, strengthen their policy and program. When we are able to achieve these goals up to some extent, then some of the related goals will automatically achieve. With this, thank you very much. We'll see you in the next session.